What is going on, guys? Rated Designs here, and yes, it's going to come with you another tutorial. This will be my second time uploading this week. Other one, views screwed up and new update on the YouTube, so I kind of want to see how my video does. But on top of that, I'm coming to you guys with a 2D background tutorial. It's just kind of a background of the, tutorial on kind of how to make your channel a little bit professional and to show other people that, you don't need 3D backgrounds and space stuff to be creative. It's really obnoxious to, go around and see every channel have a space background up, and I just wanted to say, hey, here's an easier way to make them, and here's an easier way to make unique backgrounds, and cool backgrounds, stuff like that. Anyways, please like the shit out of this video before we even start, just for a background tutorial. I haven't done one in a while. It's actually just kind of been cool, but this was actually requested by somebody by the name, I think Robbie Envy. I don't know, it was somebody like that on Twitter, and I thought, hey, that's not a bad idea. Pretty easy to explain, so here you go. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you an example of a background that I actually just recently made for somebody that you guys probably would know. Let me show you guys. Actually, it's right here. Shoenice22, of course. Kind of a cool looking background, very creative. Stuff like that. It's not too much going on, but it's enough to the point where, it looks like a very professional looking background. On top of that, it's 2D, and I get the illusion of this text being a little 3D, maybe, popping out a little bit, and, giving it a nice, flair to it. But top of that, the mouths, of course, because this guy eats everything. But, yeah, it's just kind of cool stuff. But we're going to start off today with this. So what you're going to do is, open up my template. If you don't have it, it's in my 20K pack, so go check that out. So it's going to actually start out like this. And basically, a lot of people are like, oh, 2D. Okay, so let's start out. Text. Well, yes, we can start out with text, but what we're going to do here is I'm going to start out with something cool, so we're just going to put up, I don't know why vulgar, but I'm going to do Vulgar Mastermind, just because I typed it up on Wu-Tang Clan name generator, and that was my rap name, so yeah. We're going to do this, but yeah, so we're going to put out text, and then, people, usually fill in a little bit of stuff back. That's all people, alright. Everybody thinks that that's something you have to do, really make the background look, cool. Sometimes the less you do, the better it looks. So I'm going to show you some ways to make something look very professional with just 2D text. So we're going to do with our 2D text, we're going to go to a gradient overlay. And the gradient overlay, depending on the color, doesn't really matter. With this background, I actually think I'm going to use the green that I always, use. And that should, if I didn't update the packs yet, I'm sorry, but I will update them. I forgot the layer styles one, but this one will be in it. But anyways, yeah, so you're going to put a gradient. Then we're going to go to bevel and emboss. Now, it's going to start out and it's going to look like this. And everyone kind of, it kind of looks cool. It's like, whatever. But here's the way I do it. I uncheck, use global light, put the angle all the way up to the top left and make it 119 about. Yeah. And it's just going to give it this white outer area. And we're going to switch the size to about 1 or 2. You can eye it, up to you. And the opacity of the highlight mode, we're going to switch down to about 25, maybe 30, 35, depending upon what color it is. And it's kind of going to give it like, a popped out effect. But this is how we really get the effect. You're going to do an inner shadow. You're going to make this distance is 1 and the size 1. Then we're going to make the opacity 100%, switch the color to white, and switch the blend mode to overlay. And what that does is it brings this nice shine over the L and the U to give it that like I guess like a shiny type thing. Make it look a little more popped out. And then we can add an inner glow, of course. Make the size about 1. Overlay. And then we can switch it to white. And then maybe like a 25% just to give it a little bit more. And hit OK. Now you can add a drop shadow depending upon what you're doing, but I'm going to add just a little one, 20, 10, opacity about 35. And then on the BG. So that's kind of a cool text that we usually use. I actually have it put in my layer styles. I made it. So I'll click it and I'll show you. It's kind of already pre-made as a white. But yeah, that's the green version. And yeah, so basically, as you guys can see, there's a pattern in Shoenice's background that I use in the background. And I basically just made this. Nothing too special. What I'm going to do here is I'll show you exactly how I made it. But we're going to get a huge brush, make it about, a green. Make sure you center it. I can eye it pretty well. And then lower the opacity. Excuse me. And then merge the layers down. Filter gallery. Spatter to get rid of the gradient banding. And that's what we have so far. Now, after this, what you're going to have to do is of course, it just looks plain. And a lot of people get here and they're stuck. And they're like, oh, what do I do? Well, there's a lot of things you can do. For instance, for this background, I'm going to add just a nice, highlight around it. Kind of something like this. Just use a box. Rasterize the layer, of course. We're going to throw an inner glow. And we'll go inner shadow. 0, 20, 10. And we're going to switch the fill out to 0. Rasterize that. Actually, I take that back. We're going to take the fill off. We're going to make this overlay. And then I'm going to rasterize this. Make it overlay again. But yeah, and we're just going to erase this thing right here. Up to kind of right there. And then, you could screw around with the opacity of it. So just to make it look like it kind of came out of a box. Give it some cool ideas. But yeah, so here's how I do the patterns. So we're going to open up a new document. Usually do 1920 by 1080 just because it's a huge resolution. Make the other, the background color, a gray or black, depending upon what it is. And there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Of course, my old abstract patterning tutorial, kind of like Evan Eckert, you'll get stuff like that. But of course, how do I explain it? With this type of pattern, you can do pretty much anything. There's a lot of different patterns that are out there. I have pre-made ones, of course, that I downloaded. So like there's that one. I have a bunch of different ones and wood patterns, and you can just switch those to overlay, and it'll kind of give it a cool looking, rustic, cool, weird look like that. And I just makes it look kind of cool. But I like to make my own patterns. Why not? So yeah, what I do is for instance, if I wanted to make a diamond pattern, you can easily do it. So you go to like diamonds, or we'll do hexagons actually. No. Well, what do I want to do? We'll see. We'll do diamonds. So you guys see the here's a diamond. You guys see the diamonds. So we're gonna make a pretty small diamond. Rasterize it. Now the tricky part is making it 3D. I'm gonna zoom into about 100. Zoom in again. About 300, and making this 3D is not too tough, but you just kind of want to eye this. And we're going to go and we're going to make this a dark gray. But actually, I already did a no-no. I actually have to make this a offset white, your actual shape layer. So make sure you make it an offset white, not an actual white. And you're just going to Command J to that one layer that I did, of course. You're going to flip it horizontally, and then you're going to flip it vertically. And what it's going to do is it's going to give a shape kind of like there's a point right here. And it kind of gives it a 3D effect and makes it look kind of cool. But yeah, so that's our one way. And basically what you do is you take your diamond and you can make it in different forms, shall I say, and you kind of just, you know, if that's how you kind of want to make your pattern look, kind of something like this, you just do that. You merge the layers, Command J, and of course you want to eyeball it to the point where it looks pretty close to what you're getting here. And you're just going to want to keep merging, expanding. Merge, expand. And it's kind of like a repetitive process, and it's making your own pattern. Of course, your background sizes are going to be increased. So megabyte-wise, they're going to get extremely big. Just because of how detailed some of these can be. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Another really good channel to look at some of the patterns that he uses and the creativity he uses would be Metallic Design, I think, or Metallic DZN, I think, is his. It's Jake Howden, if you guys don't know who that is, but if I said your name right, Jake. But yeah, he puts out some really cool 2D stuff, but and/or Evan Eckert, of course, the one and only. But yeah, it's kind of just make your own pattern. Kind of cool stuff here. So I'm actually going to zoom out to make sure that I covered this whole area. Okay. So pretty much have this whole area covered. And what you're going to do is just drag this onto your template, into the background. And what you could do is Command I, make it black, switch it, overlay, and then give it that cool look, or you can just do this and make it an overlay, or you can multiply, depending. I like the multiply look a little bit better, just my opinion, guys. But then you just kind of erase the sides and erase a little bit up too, because you don't want the whole pattern throughout the whole background. It's just going to make it huge, and of course you're going to throw curves on this and stuff like that, so you don't want the the whole background, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, just kind of erase a little bit of this as I go. And then you're going to just switch the opacity down to about a 50. Yeah, that'll work. And yeah, so that's basically what we have. So now I'm just going to add some curves. Add some curves right here. Right here, and as you can see that it kind of just fades into the back. And the thing about these types of patterns is if you want to add that effect of kind of like that grungy effect of like kind of like their actual used tiles, I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. You add a grunge brush. So you take some brushes, it can be any type of grunge brush, guys. Of course, my brush pack is these are the ones I use. When you open up my brush pack, there'll be the grunge brushes at the bottom. I'll show you what they look like. I'll let my brushes load because I have so many. They should be right here, right under the Dare logos, or next to them, depending upon how you have your brushes set up. But and they'll just be all weird looking. And this is the one I use a lot. And you kind of just sporadically, move them around. And do that type of stuff. As you can see what I do here. And after that, you're just going to take an eraser and clean it up, make it a little, pretty circular right here. And right here. If it looks a little off, that's fine. But then you're just going to switch it to overlay. And it gives it a nice look like that to it, of course. Just kind of cool. You can screw with the opacities, of course, once again. But just, it's an effect. Looks cool. And then here's another effect. So, of course, new layer. This is pretty much basic to all 2D backgrounds. It just really makes your background pop a little bit more. Kind of gives it like a contrast type thing. You're going to want to go to a soft brush. Move it down to about 75. And you're going to go into your brush options, which you can find over here, or it's up on top. It should be like right here. You'll just click this thing, and it'll pop open. And shape dynamics, size jitter, all the way up to 100%. and that's all you got to do. And what it's going to do is it's going to move your brush to be a different size every time you click. So you kind of just click around different areas, try to get different brush sizes, you know, move down, up, around the text. You know, try to give it that, it's kind of like a contrast look to it. You know, we'll see. Kind of cool, like that. But yeah, then you're just going to switch them to overlay. And it kind of gives it, you know, you can screw with the opacity, of course. And it just gives it a nice, cool look to it. And kind of gives the background a little bit more of a flow than just a pattern and grunge. And, you know, of course, if you're doing Call of Duty backgrounds, there's a lot of screenshots and those stuff, you know, it's kind of just overlays and stuff like that that really would bring 2D backgrounds up. But here, you know, it just depends on what you want to do. So this is the first part of the tutorial. The next part I'm going to get into links. It'll be a little bit more of like, you know, linking stuff, putting stuff in areas, being creative with links. Get really into the actual background itself. Bars, different ways you can do things, and that type of stuff. So if you liked this tutorial, please leave a like and leave a comment saying you want to see number 2. I know this is probably a big tutorial for a lot of people, but yeah, and also in this next one, I'll show you guys how to save it pretty well too, and give some effects too, because, I mean, let's be honest. Everyone saw that Skrillex poster. As much as you may not want to admit it, I mean, I personally loved it because of how cool it looks, but that little oil paint effect, coolest thing in the world in my opinion. But yeah, so thank you guys all for Jesus, almost 21K. It's amazing. But yeah, I'm trying to, you know, think what I should do actually for, you know, future stuff. I want to do an IRL type stuff. Definitely go check out the 200K IRL and Obey. I'm in there. But yeah, I want to do some IRL stuff. I want to show you guys a little bit more. And also, live streams are going to be coming back because I finally fixed my internet. And so definitely anybody, you know, you see that thing pop up on YouTube, click it as fast as you can. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. So I'm Raiden Designs. Please rate, comment, subscribe, like the shit out of this video, and deuces.